Boa tarde, Carlos, Sérgio.
Fala,
Pá,
Xará.
Início às 13 horas, confirmado, ok?
Ok,
Já tá
beleza.
com redes sociais viradas.
Tá.
valeu. to be here with you to broadcast one more round of the Brazilian Porsche Cup Series. Good expectation for this event that, as you said, marks the halfway of the season. So we're kickstarting the second half of the championship, the sprint championships that we have in both Carrera Cup Championship and the Sprint Challenge. We also have the Porsche Endurance Series, but now one more round of the sprint season. Let's hear from Renata Diniz, our pit reporter.
Estamos aqui em Interlagos, é isso, um pouco menos frio. Eu diria que agora já tô até sentindo calor, comparado amanhã, né, do período da manhã que a gente fez o quali. Então o sol tá aqui rachando em cima da cabeça. Aquela movimentação de box para abrir box já para as voltas de apresentação. Estarei aqui trazendo todas as notícias em primeira mão para vocês dessa prova que promete muito. Então boa tarde a todos os fãs de velocidade e de automobilismo também.
Yeah, there we heard from Renata, our pit reporter. She was talking about the temperature. Of course, we have a colder weekend than usual for us Brazilians, even though now we already have temperatures around 18 degrees Celsius. In the beginning of the race day this Saturday, we have had actually 12 degrees Celsius for the beginning of the Carrera Cup qualifying session. So now already the sun very strong, so heating a bit the hearts of the drivers, the fans, the reporters, and also the track temperature, because we saw in the qualifying session that the track temperature was getting higher and higher and higher. And of course, we can expect a better scenario now for the two races that we'll have. First, the Carrera Cup race, and then the Sprint Challenge race.
Yes, let's wait and see. We see there Bruno Campos. We're still waiting for the cars to hit the track, to the box to be open, but we are waiting there, and it's a very good pole position for Werner Neugebauer, Carlos, that will start along Nicolas Costa. Right now they place first and second in the championship, so the advantage of Nicolas Costa over Werner Neugebauer is only 5 points. So it's very important, because I would say there you see Werner Neugebauer with his son. It's important for Neugebauer to be able to finish ahead of Nicolas Costa. First place gets 28 points, second place gets 25. So even if he finishes first and second, Werner Neugebauer, he won't be able to get to Nicolas Costa, but he will be closer. And that will certainly increases his chances, of getting ahead of the championship after race 2 tomorrow, also here in Interlagos.
Yeah, that's it. He has at least to cut the gap to Costa, as you said. If they finish 1-2 as we have on the grid, then Costa will still be leading, but of course Neugebauer will be closer, 2 points behind, and then we have one more race tomorrow, as you said. But then eventually, if Neugebauer wins, for example, and Costa is third, then the situation gets a little bit more interesting, for Werner. But anyway, we can see when we look to the championship standings that this race start will be very, very important, especially because of the fight of the two front runners in terms of championship and grid position in this Carrera Cup Championship. So just to mention precisely the points, Costa has 119 points, 5 ahead of Werner, as you said. Then we have Marcel Miller, runner-up last year, with 107. He isn't that far, but his grid position isn't as good as Neugebauer's. But starting from P3, he has a good condition to attack right after race start as well. So the three front runners quite close to each other there in the 3 top positions of this grid.
Yeah, so soon we'll have this race. Beautiful day in Interlagos, as you mentioned from Renata Diniz participation, Carlos. Warm weather is warmer. The cars are already going there to they of course you stay in the grid waiting for the authorization for the start of the race. But it's a good beginning for this Saturday, remembering that we have race 2 tomorrow on Sunday, starting at 11 a.m. Brazilian time. And there you have again this feature that's about Argentina. It's nice to have this commercial, I would say, Carlos, from Visit Argentina. That's about the next round of Porsche Cup Brazil will be in Termas de Rio Hondo, very famous, very iconic racetrack in Argentina, where we'll be able, to follow the fifth round of the championship, with the final round being in Interlagos alongside the Formula One Grand Prix in Brazil that will take place in Interlagos. So it's very nice. And I don't know, Carlos, if you've been to Argentina. I've been to Argentina. It's a very nice country indeed. I've been to just to a few places there, but it has beautiful, tourist places to visit Argentina.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I lived in Argentina for about 6 months.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, in 2017 in the Mendoza province, in the westernmost region of Argentina. It's indeed a very nice country. Also in terms of tourism, the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit is located in the Santiago del Estero province, quite in the middle of the country. And as you said, it is indeed one of the most famous racetracks of South America nowadays, I would say. That is the venue of the Argentinian Grand Prix of MotoGP. And now the cars will line in the grid.
Mas estaremos lá. A gente passa frio, tenta se esquentar de tudo quanto é jeito, né? Então tá tudo certo.
Yeah, she was talking about the fact that she will try to interview a couple of drivers before race start, but I don't know if it will be able anyway. We'll have the cars lined for race start. We have, of course, a good expectation for this round, but anyway, now we see one more to Visit Argentina feature, and now specifically about the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit, Sergio. Actually, it's very nice to see that it was able to be rebuilt, because they have a fire a couple of years ago, and then they had to rebuild the museum of the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit, as we saw there, Santiago, that is Santiago del Estero, not Santiago, the Chilean capital. And actually, Porsche Cup will be racing one more time in Termas de Rio Hondo. We had last year also a couple of rounds in this region of Argentina. Now, once more, the Endurance Series round and the Sprint Series round in Santiago del Estero, Termas de Rio Hondo. So very nice to see. I was talking about how important this track is. It is, as I said, the venue of the Argentinian Grand Prix of MotoGP. So very famous worldwide already, and it is a good opportunity for the Brazilian drivers to race abroad, especially in such a well-ranked circuit as is the Termas de Rio Hondo one. And of course, the expectation is quite good for both of the rounds. We have, of course, the next one being the sprint round in Termas, and then we have the endurance round as well, the 300 kilometers race of Termas de Rio Hondo. Then in the endurance series, we'll have the final round also at Interlagos, a couple of days after the sprint round, that will be supporting also the Formula One Grand Prix at the Autódromo José Carlos Pache, as we say in Brazil. But anyway, a good expectation for the rest of the season, and an interesting calendar as well, because you have some races in Interlagos, of course, the most important racetrack in our country. Also Velocitar, that is a circuit that is a little bit more technical, low speed in the inner part of the São Paulo state. And Goiânia as well, that is a high speed circuit in quite close actually to the Brazil's capital, that is Brasília. So I think it is a good balance of racetrack characteristics and so on. And now with Termas, that is also a very technical circuit, Sergio.
Yeah, as you see already, the safety car ahead of the field in the track, waiting for the cars to stop there, so we have all the ceremonies and the 5 minutes, signal there, post there. So we're still waiting for the cars to get there close. So we still have a little bit before the beginning of the race. And I'd like to take the opportunity, Carlos, to talk about, we said about Werner Neugebauer and Nicolas Costa in the first row. But second row, we'll have Marcel Miller, who is third in the championship, 107 points so far for him. And Lineu Pires, who is the first car from sport class. And there, Carlos, we have four
grid ser
sports
formado aqui.
cars
As
from
equipes
the
já estão
sports
descendo,
class.
inclusive,
They're in
as
4th,
10
5th, 6th, and
engenheiras
7th.
e
Renata.
mecânicas que estão participando do FIA Girls on Track. Elas começaram a vir a partir de quinta-feira aqui. Thiago Mendonça vai explicar um pouquinho melhor de como que é esse programa, mas já tem uma das participantes ali e elas estão botando a mão na massa de verdade aqui. Então tá sendo uma experiência incrível. Ontem eu bati um papo com algumas delas e elas estão assim, aquela coisa do saber tudo na teoria e que vem pra prática numa categoria como a Porsche Cup Brasil. Tá sendo um negócio muito, muito legal, Mendonça.
Yeah, there we heard from Renata Diniz once more. She was talking about the FIA Girls on Track program that is being developed in Brazil by the Women's Racing Commission of our Motorsport Confederation that is led by Bia Figueiredo. She's spearheading this, I would say, very important job. Of course, promoting female presence in motorsport as a whole, not just in terms of drivers, but engineers as well, press officers, and so on. And from time to time, these girls, they are able to take part in a racing weekend of one of the important racing categories in Brazil. And that is the first time that they are doing this in the Porsche Cup Brazil. So very nice to see that Bia Figueiredo, one of the most accomplished female drivers from Brazil, is leading this FIA Girls on Track program in Brazil. And of course, Bia is well known worldwide as well, especially in the US, I would say, Sergio. She has been IndyCar driver as well. And of course, she can pass her experience to these younger girls, such as Antonella Bassani, for example, the only female driver of this grid in the Sprint Challenge Championship, not the Carrera Cup, but anyway, already the first woman to win a race in Porsche Cup Brazil. So we can see that the job is being very well done, and we have track results as well with Antonella Bassani. And actually, Bia Figueiredo is one of the managers of Antonella's career, as you see. The grid being set for the Carrera Cup race. So we should have racing in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, there we see Nicolas Costa will start in the front row. But as I was telling you, Carlos, I would like you to comment on that. The top 3 cars are from the main Carrera Cup class, which has 6 drivers. But in the next 4 drivers are
Bom, falando em posições,
from the sport class. Well, we are talking about with Miguel Paludo, who was going to mention he is 9th in the grid. Is not an unusual position for him. Renata.
Trabalhou bastante, vinha na volta rápida e ainda teria chance de fazer mais uma. Tinha 1 minuto, acho, sobrando no tempo. Mas são coisas de corrida, infelizmente. A gente ficou chateado de não poder completar tão perto, né? Uma coisa é ter uma bandeira vermelha saindo do S do Senna. A gente já estava no café. Mas são coisas que acontecem. Então agora é focar no que tem que ser focado, aí ver o que a gente consegue hoje, uma boa prova, e aí tentar acabar na melhor posição possível.
Rolou uma dificuldade para aquecer os pneus ali no começo do quali?
Rolou, hoje estava muito mais frio e a gente teve uma dificuldade no Q1 e mais ou menos sofreu a mesma coisa no Q2. Estudamos bastante, são erros que a gente não pode cometer nesse nível de campeonato, então no meio da temporada para o final. E então de novo, o erro que a gente cometeu mais a bandeira vermelha resultou da onde a gente está largando, então foi uma sequência de coisas. Agora é bola para frente.
Que passou. E agora é recuperação e só vai.
É isso aí.
Valeu, Mig. Boa prova para você.
Muito obrigado.
Luke?
Yeah, as you said, Sergio, we heard there from Miguel Paludo, only 9th on the grid. He was talking about how tricky the qualifying session was for him. Actually, he had issues to hit the tires. Most of this grid actually had issues with the tires in terms of getting them to the right temperature window. We had, as I said, a very cold qualifying session in the beginning of this Saturday at Interlagos. And apart from that, in the final qualifying session that defined the top 10 of this grid, Paludo was getting a good lap time in the final stages, but even though he had good sectors, his lap wasn't completed due to a red flag caused by Rodrigo Melo's accident in the main straight. He had a puncture and then lost control of his car, crashed into the wall in the inside line of the main straight, and of course the session was red flagged, and it was quite close to the end. The clock was almost completely ticked there, and then Miguel Paludo wasn't able to complete his time his lap actually. He said that he probably would get a good time with that attempt, and maybe he would be able to get another attempt by crossing the checkered flag before the clock ticked completely. But anyway, he didn't have luck, but now the focus is on a recovery race. We are talking about
Quem tá bem
a multiple
felizão por aqui
champion
também,
of this
Werner
series.
Neubauer, que tá
Let's
largando
hear
na
now from
pole,
Werner Neubauer,
puxando esse
the
pelotão
pole sitter
inteiro.
of this race one.
Pensando no campeonato, é uma vantagem muito boa largar na pole num dia como hoje, né, Werner?
Ah, sem dúvida. Como eu falei antes, a gente está entrando na fase decisiva do campeonato. Faltam 3 etapas agora e largar na pole ajuda. Interlagos não é uma pista muito fácil de ultrapassar, o carro freia muito dentro, todo mundo fala isso toda hora, eu acho, mas a pole ajuda. A gente acha que o Nicolas tem alguma coisa de pneu ali, então vamos para cima e tentar levar a vitória e somar bastante ponto para o campeonato.
Fiquei com essa pulga atrás da orelha, alguma coisa de pneu ali, o que seria isso, Werner?
Não sei, ele não passou pneu ontem e hoje no quali, no Q1, eu não sei se ele passou pneu também, então...
Só no apoio, né? Ele passou primeiro no apoio.
Bom, tá vendo? Informação nova.
Achei que você soubesse, a gente falou isso na transmissão, não falamos, Luque Monteiro?
Então ele tem pelo menos uns 6 pneus zero ele tem para hoje e para amanhã.
Entendi. Então é a cabeça dele aqui pensando no campeonato dele e pensando no adversário que tá logo atrás.
Mas vambora, vamos pra cima.
Acelerar nem olhar pra trás,
Só vai.
Boa, Werner, obrigada, boa prova. Okay.
Yeah, we heard there from Neubauer. As we explained, only 5 points behind Nicolas Costa in the championship standings. Neubauer starts first, Costa second. Werner highlighted how important it is to start ahead of the pack in this track and in such a cold condition. Apart from that, we have some constructions happening in the Interlagos complex, so a little bit of dirt in this track, so it compromises also the overtaking maneuvers. But anyway, he said that the tire strategy is also a factor because Nicolas Costa managed to save some sets of tires, so between today's race and tomorrow's race, maybe Costa will have an advantage, but Neubauer is thinking about going ahead and making his job. So let's wait and see if he manages to stay ahead of Costa. That will be talking to us shortly as well.
Yeah, he'll have to deal with that. Definitely, that's one of the challenges of this competition. And now we hear from Nicolas Costa.
Foi da outra vez. E eu falando com o Werner, ele falou, acho que tem alguma coisa de pneus ali. Você tá fazendo uma estratégia muito específica para poupar os pneus para vir com tudo agora. Você pode contar alguma coisa? Entregar alguma coisa para mim, por favor?
Não, a gente tentou poupar um pouquinho de pneu no treino só. Boa tarde para todo mundo. Para ter algum pneu para corrida, né? No caso, tentar a sorte no quali, ver se dava para largar na pole. Faltaram aí 23 milésimos. Mas na corrida nunca é fácil, né? Os 4 primeiros estão separados por 64 milésimos. Eu não conheço outra categoria no Brasil que seja tão competitiva, incluindo a Stock Car. A gente está muito próximo. E vai ser pegada a corrida, vai ser pegada e vamos ver como é que vai ser.
É isso. Ele que chegou com uma estratégia para o quali, trocando só os pneus de apoio, né?
Não sei, foi isso?
Olha como eles são, Luque Monteiro. Obrigada, Nicolas, boa prova.
Obrigado, Renatinha.
A gente quer ver esse show na pista agora, com vocês aí.
Yeah, we heard there from Costa, starting second, leading the championship, and he confirmed that he saved some sets of tires for this weekend's races, so used less tires in the practice sessions, but he didn't comment on detail about that, even though Neubauer already raised his suspicions. But anyway, his focus is on the championship standing, so getting good points for this race today and then a good result tomorrow as well. But he will be able to attack right after the restart, going to the first leg of the Senna S's in the left-hander that we have, then the right-hander of the second leg of the Senna S's. And I believe you all know this circuit very well from the Formula 1 Grand Prix, so we tend to have good racing, especially ahead of the pack. And as you said, Sergio, we cannot actually forget that Marcel Miller is right behind as well, so it will be fierce racing for sure.
Yeah, Marcel Miller is a very aggressive driver, and he will start in the inside line there. we see again Miguel Paludo. He will start P9. It's not a position he's used to start. Of course, there is a little bit of concern there. He is fourth in the championship, tied with third, but fourth overall. But all his main adversaries are starting ahead of them right now. So chances are that Miguel Paludo will fall even behind in the championship as we still wait for the 5 minutes signal there for the start of the race. After this race, we'll have the sprint challenge race as well. So it's always 2 races on Saturday, 2 races on Sunday in each round of Porsche Cup C6 Bank MasterCard Sprint Championship. And of course, there you have the 5 minutes there. So that's when the drivers will start to really get ready, get into their cars and be ready for the race. So we are getting there, Carlos. I'm very excited to see the start of this race, as the concerns shown by Werner Neugebauer about Nicolas Costa having better tires than he would do. So that should be a very interesting start of the race as they will start together. And we always have here in Interlagos the challenging S of Senna, the turn that was from Ayrton Senna. He designed it, and that's a very nice. You see here on the bottom of your screen the S of the Senna. So that's a very strong point where there are lots of disputes, mainly when the race starts, Carlos.
Yeah, and there in this aerial view, we can see also the constructions that I have mentioned it. So maybe we have some dirt actually on track, but anyway, that's a challenge for all of the drivers. And I share your anxiety, if we can say so, for this race start, Sergio. Not just because of the top 3 in the grid, but as you explained, we have from P4 to P7 drivers from the sport class quite close to each other, and a championship fight that is important as well. So it tends to be very intense in this top 10, I would say. And then, of course, the rest of the pack in that craziness that we have in the middle of the pack.
Yes, again, the aerial view. And Carlos, is this for the Formula One Grand Prix that they are doing these renovations? Or I don't know if you know,
Yes.
or if it's for another reason.
Yes, it is. They actually are building more stands for the fans for the Formula One Grand Prix as well, apart from other alterations there in the structure. We have to remember that this Interlagos complex also receives a lot of music festivals and so on, but one of these renovations is focused on getting more public to the Formula One Grand Prix. So that has to do with the main racing series of the world, as we see there. 18 degrees Celsius air temperature, 27 degrees Celsius track temperature. So compared to this morning, it is very, very hot, even though not that hot for our Brazilian standards, and decent wind, to say the least, 12 kilometers per hour, but I wouldn't say it will impact that much, Sergio.
Yeah, we have to remember we are in winter in Brazil. So, but that was 6 degrees higher than the track temperature, because it's 6 degrees higher than we had early in the morning when we started the qualifying sessions, which is a lot. I agree with you, it's a lot. And the temperature outside, even though Renata said it's warmer, it's not that much. It's 18 degrees Celsius. It was 16 in the morning. So it's okay, a little bit warmer, a little bit better. And Renata again.
As equipes já esvaziando o grid. Daqui a pouco acontece a nossa largada. E é isso. A gente viu essa mudança aí de posição da pole, né? Agora o Werner, não mais o Nicolas, mas o Nicolas tem uma estratégia muito boa de pneus. É bom a gente ficar de olho nisso. Estaria aqui trazendo todas as notícias em primeiríssima mão.
Yeah, Renata talking about the grid there, the grid formation. We have the 1 minute sign, and it's interesting that she said that it is quite hot now compared to earlier today. She probably arrived to the track around 7 a.m. So I assume that she had temperatures with less than 10 degrees Celsius in the beginning of the day. So it is a very good situation compared to earlier this Saturday, as we see the onboard camera of Werner Neugebauer's pole lap. Very interesting to see, Sergio.
Yes. Let's follow him. Oh, no, they took it out. Again.
And now this sector is very technical. So this circuit is very nice, and that's why Formula 1 drivers love it as well, Sergio.
And it's a point also, Carlos, where we see, at least on Porsche Cup, we sometimes see some overtaking there. Mainly when the driver behind is in a better shape, you know, than the driver ahead. Of course, when they're running the same speeds, it doesn't happen. But that's another interesting point.
Yeah, and that's why tire management that was mentioned both by Neugebauer and Costa is very important. Now we see the last turn going to the main straight that is very famous worldwide.
And there we see when he crosses the line. Let's see the starting lineup. Werner Neugebauer pole position. Alongside him, Nicolas Costa. Behind the second row, Marcel Miller and Lineu Pires. Pole position for the sports class. Then Raijan Mascarello and Peter Ferter. Nice effort by both these drivers. Lucas Salles and Rodrigo Melo on the fourth row. And then behind them, Miguel Paludo and Nelson Monteiro. Nelson Monteiro also had an accident in the last qualifying session right at the beginning. He didn't set up a time. Ricardo Fontanari and Nelson Marcondes. Franco Giafone and Giorgio Frangulis. Then we have Alceu Feldman, not a good day for him. He's the main sports Carrera Cup class. Then Roman Zinkiewicz and Eduardo Menossi on the ninth row. Bruno Campos, rookie, pole position for the rookie class. And then Paulo Souza and Piero Cifali behind them on the 11th row. And then we have Nasser Abou Taif and Gustavo Farah. These are the drivers who will be racing. As we wait, the cars are already lined up for the start of the race. On your right side, you will see when we start the race, Werner Neugebauer. There we have his on board. Actually, he'll be on the left, he'll be on the right side. On the left side, we'll see Nicolas Costa, and behind Neugebauer on the right side, we are seeing Marcel Miller third in the championship, and Lineu Pires from the sports class is the second, appearing on the left side. Red lights are on. We are ready for the start of the 7th race of the season. First race of the 4th round of the 2023 Porsche Cup C6 Bank MasterCard. And it's green, green, green. He starts. Oh, look at that. Problems with Werner Neugebauer, but he's able to stay ahead. Nicolas Costa side by side with him at the S of Senna. Nicolas Costa gets the advantage. Werner Neugebauer trying on the outside to recuperate the first position. Marcel Miller is in third. What a start by Nicolas Costa, but Werner Neugebauer had problems here. He lost some traction there and he ended up losing the first position. As we see there, numbers 56 of Peter Ferter in fourth position. Great start for Peter Ferter, who is third now. Carlos Costa ahead of Marcel Miller, who might be falling behind. Now he has behind of him number 199. That's what an incredible start of the race here in Interlagos, Carlos.
Yeah, very nice restart, especially for Nicolas Costa, now leading the pack. As you said, Werner Neugebauer lost a bit of traction, something with the grip there. Even though his jump, his first throttle there was quite okay, the full throttle after the green flag was on. Of course, then he lost traction and Costa was able to attack. Miller also tried to attack, but then Peter Ferter approached. A very good restart from Peter Ferter, and we saw a driver going wide, and now it's... Franco
Giafone. Franco Giaffoni going outside of the track. As we see Nicolas Costa leading the way. Great start by him. And also a great start by 199. That was Nelson Marcondes. Nelson Marcondes was 10th, I believe, when in the grid or even behind. I mean, he had a great start. 12th, yeah, so he was 12th, thank you. So that was really great moment for Nelson Marcondes. Let's see if he's able to stay there, as Franco Giaffoni clearly has problems and is probably going to the pits, yes.
Yeah, let's see if he's able to return, but I don't think that's the case given the fact that it seems to be a suspension failure. And now Miguel Paludo on the charge, interesting fight as well. But I completely agree with you. I would say that the main highlight of the restart was Nelson Marcondes, even though, of course, the situation for Costa and Ferter was very good as well, as we saw the car from Nasser Abou Taif being retired there.
And Miguel Paludo gets the position from Raijan Mascarello. Now he's going after Nelson Marcondes. And I'm impressed also by Peter Ferter, who is running in the 3rd position. Let's see if he's able to stay there. But a very nice beginning for him. He started 6th on the grid. He's 3rd right now. And great work. Definitely we have to pay attention to this driver.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, he was quite aggressive in that fight with Marcel Miller right after the restart. We saw both of them going a bit wide after the 2 turns of the Cena S there. But anyway, it was fair play, just racing, and Ferter was able to stay ahead. But Marcel Miller is a very accomplished driver as well. He was a runner-up last year, so we tend to see Miller cutting the gap and trying to attack as well.
We see a battle there a little bit behind. Oh, a couple of drivers went wide there. He was able, and there we see these gold liveries from Eamon Darwich. He has right behind him Giorgio Frangulis, Lucas Salles, and Alceu Feldman. So that's a good battle going over there for the 8th position that we are able to see. As we see there, Rodrigo Melo. Rodrigo Melo, number 29, who is in the 12th position. He lost a few of positions. As we see again the start, pay attention to the car on the right. Look, he loses traction there, Werner Neugebauer, and loses the opportunity to stay in 1st position. They go to the S of Senna. He goes side by side with Nicolas Costa, but Nicolas Costa on the outside is able to get 1st position from Werner Neugebauer. That was an opportunity lost by Werner Neugebauer, Carlos, to approach the championship leader. He's 2nd in the standings, but he lost. There we see already Nicolas Costa with a little bit of advantage going into the S of Senna, as Eamon Darwich, who was in 8th place, loses control. Let's see if he got any touch from behind.
I believe it was Frangulis. Yeah.
Yes. Roman Zinkevich or Frangulis?
I believe Frangulis.
Frangulis.
But I think that the stewards will take a look into that incident. But anyway, Sergio, just talking about the race start. Actually, I think Werner Neugebauer has to celebrate because he almost crashed into the wall.
It's true.
I think there was a slight touch there between him and Marcel Miller because he got a good jump compared to Costa. But Marcel Miller attacked in the inside line, and then Neugebauer tried to close the door, but there was a slight touch, it seems. We have to check the onboard camera of Marcel Miller right after the restart to confirm that, but he lost a bit of control and traction. That's why Costa was able to overtake, and then he almost crashed into the wall. So even though he lost the lead of the race, I believe he has to celebrate the fact that he's still on the race, as we see Lucas Salles onboard camera.
Yeah, he's in 9th position. Behind him is Rodrigo Melo. We see there, Rodrigo Melo, Porsche number 29. He's ahead of a big pack there, Carlos. Like a 3, 6, 7 cars, I believe, behind him, or even more. and Rodrigo Melo is for the main Carrera Cup. But we have to remember his car was damaged when at the end of the qualifying session for the pole position, when he had a tire blown up right at the main straight, and then he was the cause of the interruption of the qualifying session.
And just to
And
mention,
he lost
Sergio,
position. He lost a couple of positions there, Carlos.
yeah, and another guy that lost a lot of positions is Lineu Pires. He started 4th and is currently running 11th. There we see his green car in a particular fight with Jorge Frangolis. I believe Lineu Pires went a bit wide right after the race start and lost a lot of ground. We actually didn't talk that much about this because we are focused on the guys ahead, but Pires had a very poor start as well. Now he has to focus on recovering the ground he lost and of course getting good points there, because now he's quite far from his class leaders in the middle of the pack, as we see that Nicolas Costa has already clocked the fastest lap time.
Yeah, he's already 1.2, 1.3 seconds behind, ahead of Vernon Neugebauer, and I'm still impressed, Carlos, by Peter Ferter, who stays in the 3rd position. He is still there, he's still battling. As we see, another battle there is Nelson Marcondes and Raijan Mascarello. Miguel Paludo is ahead already, he's already ahead of these two drivers, and Miguel Paludo is trying to get close to Marcel Miller, although he is still 2 seconds behind Marcel Miller, so it's a long way there, but we still have almost 17 minutes plus 1 lap. Races are 25 minutes plus 1 lap, and look at how many debris there we have on the track.
But Sergio, I completely agree with you about Peter Ferter. We have to remember, for example, that he's the last in the championship standings in the sport class and currently running ahead of the guy that finished 2nd in the main Carrera class last year, losing only to the champion Enzo Elias, that isn't competing in the Porsche Sprint Series anymore. So definitely Peter Ferter is, I would say, the man of the weekend so far, even though we have to praise Nicolas Costa's job as well. And of course we have the guys and the girl from the Sprint Challenge Championship. We have the race right after this one of Carrera Cup.
There you see the number 800 of Raijan Mascarello. He got the position from Nelson Marcondes, and a driver on the move, Carlos, is Alceu Feldman. He already got 8 positions. He started in 15th. Right now he's in 8th. Actually, he got 7 positions, I would say, but anyway, he is on the move and he's getting close there to try to get the position from Nelson Marcondes. So he's advancing after a bad qualifying session for Alceu Feldman, who is in the main category, the main Porsche Carrera Cup. He is doing that. And now we see finally Carlos Marcel Miller putting some pressure on Peter Ferter. Let's say if he gets that position and if he moves to 3rd, as we see Miguel Paludo trying to approach both of these drivers.
Yeah, and that's one more reason why Marcel Miller has to overtake there, as we see the fight between Nelson Marcondes and Alceu Feldman. Recovery race there from Alceu, actually a quite good one considering his grid position, but with Paludo approaching, Miller has to get rid of Peter Ferter in order to put a car between him and his title rival, we can say so, because they are both tied in the championship standings with 107 points, 3rd and 4th respectively, considering the results that they have so far. But anyway, it's an important maneuver there for Marcel Miller. Let's see if he will be able to do so. And once more, I praise Alceu Feldman's recovery race at poor qualifying session and now with a good result. And there it is.
Yeah.
Time penalty for Peter Ferter. Sorry, Sergio, just to mention, it was due to that incident right after the restart. I, in the first moment, thought it was a racing incident, but apparently the stewards thought that it was a bit over-aggressive from Ferter's part. So he was too aggressive there and was able to stay ahead, but of course with a time penalty lost a lot of time, 5 seconds added to his race, and now Miller overtakes him on track. Sergio.
Yes, we see already Miller ahead, and let's see what happened. That's 56 of Peter Ferter. Oh yeah, he touched on the right side of Marcel Miller. Marcel Miller holds his Porsche. He is not interested in any major problem right at the start of the race. And Peter Ferter right now is fourth, but with the 5-second penalty for sure, he will be Miguel Paludo. Not sure about Raijan Mascarello, because Raijan Mascarello is 4.4 seconds behind Miguel Paludo. So even though with this time penalty, Peter Ferter might be able, Carlos, to finish 5th in this race, which would be indeed a very good result for him. Even 6th or 7th, it will be a great result for him, and that's something that we'll have to note.
Yeah, but 5th would be very nice, because then he would be on the podium of the main Carrera class. Of course, he's the driver from the sport class, but they grab points, as you see once more the incident between Ferter and Miller. And we just saw as well a fight between Bruno Campos and Edu Guedes for the lead of the rookie class. There we see the white car of Edu Guedes and Bruno Campos right behind. Actually, Edu Guedes was able to overtake, so interesting fight in the rookie class as well.
We saw before Piero Cifali. That's Piero Cifali, then Gustavo Farah and Paulo Souza. That's the battle going on there that you're mentioning in the rookie class, or at least it's a battle in the rookie class. But Edu Guedes, as you said, is the leader. This is the battle for 3rd position in the rookie class, the one we're seeing there with the Porsche number 74. And there you see trying to recuperate the 555 for Eamon Darwich. He was involved in that incident before, and now he's currently in the 22nd position, trying to overtake at least the rookie class. These drivers battling for the rookie class category, and Eamon Darwich trying to recoup some positions. I doubt he'll have that much time to get close to Edu Menossi, who is the next driver in the sports class. But anyway, it's nice to see him doing all this effort to recuperate, Carlos.
Yeah, and he has to do so. He has to try, because eventually if you have a safety car or something like that, the whole pack is close together. And with his aggressiveness that is very known in this Porsche series, he may get something interesting. And nice fight there between him and Paulo Souza, as we see that there was a touch there. Yes. Good battle.
Let's see now. We go back with the leaders. Miguel Paludo is getting close to Peter Ferter. Peter Ferter is still in 4th position. Of course, with the time penalty, Miguel Paludo is already of Peter Ferter. But it's always nice if he's able to get the position on track, as we see Roman Zinkiewicz with his number 80 there. It's a nice battle between him and number 88 of Giorgio Frangoulis. But that was Roman Zinkiewicz who got the position from Giorgio Frangoulis, Carlos. So he should be able to advance. Roman Zinkiewicz is 11th. Giorgio Frangoulis is in 12th right now.
Yeah, difficult weekend so far for Giorgio Frangoulis. He had a poor qualifying session, and now struggling also in the middle of the pack against class rivals, but drivers that are a little bit far from him in terms of the championship standings. Giorgio Frangoulis gets to this round of Interlagos, 2nd in the sport class, 2 points behind Lucas Salles, the class leader. So So far, not that good for Frangulis. Nelson Monteiro also struggling, had that crash in the qualifying session, as you said, with 50 points. Frangulis 68 and Salles 70. But currently leading the class, we have Peter Ferter. Let's see if he is able to stand his advantage to this class rivals in order to guarantee the class win as Paludo now attacks.
And we see now Ricardo Fontanari getting the position from Rodrigo Melo. Ricardo Fontanari in the Porsche number 17 there, the blue Porsche. Rodrigo Melo with the 29. Definitely not a good race for him. We already explained that he had to fix his car after the qualifying session. It was about 2 hours from one moment to the other, so it was not that much time that the mechanics had. And we saw also Edu Guedes in the 9th position being pressured by Bruno Campos. This is a battle in the rookie class. That's a very nice battle. Edu Guedes in the white Porsche, the Boss sponsored Porsche, and behind him we have Bruno Campos with number 33, the blue Porsche there.
Yeah, and Campos started on pole in this class, so very nice battle. Edu Guedes started second in the class, and they are having a particular battle there. And just to mention Melo's situation, Sergio, we have to think that maybe his car isn't that good because it had to be fixed. And of course, it has an impact on setup or that kind of, and all that kind of thing. So maybe he isn't that comfortable with this car after the accident that he had in the qualifying session.
Miguel Paludo wasn't able to overtake Peter Ferter yet. The advantage of Nicolas Costa, who leads the race, to Werner Neugebauer's second is 2 seconds. Then Marcel Miller is 1.4 behind Werner Neugebauer. As we see there, Paludo pressuring Peter Ferter for the 4th position, which Paludo, staying on the track, will get anyways. But let's see what he can do. It's important, I would say, Carlos, because Paludo is from the main Carrera class. So it's a question almost of honor there to be able to overtake Peter Ferter. It's not necessarily, of course, we have to consider many other conditions like the tire condition of the tires condition right now for the cars. But anyway, even with the penalty, Peter Ferter, it's been incredible what he's been doing. I'm totally impressed by his work on the track, and he even gets to get a little bit more of a gap between him and Miguel Paludo, as we see now Alceu Feldman trying to get to Raijan Mascarello for the 6th position, which might eventually be the 5th position, although I doubt it because they're 2 way behind Peter Ferter.
Yeah, but anyway, that's good for Peter, this fight between Alceu and Raijan Mascarello, because Peter's focus has to be on the class win, and with that 5-second time penalty, he has to open a bit of a gap, and of course that fight between Feldman and Mascarello will not help Mascarello in terms of cutting the gap, even though Ferter is being pressured there by Miguel Paludo. Whoa!
Oh! Yeah. That was the
Guedes.
battle for the rookie class.
Yeah,
and Edu Guedes gets a touch there. Let's see what from Bruno Campos. Let's see what of the directors, the race direction says about that. That was right at the entrance of the S of Senna.
Yeah, I have no doubt that the race director will submit this incident to the stewards, even though apparently Edu Guedes braked a little bit, quite close actually to the apex of the corner. So I believe it's a mix of factors there that made him spin. But of course there was a slight touch. So I believe the stewards will take a look into that incident and let's see if there's any penalty. As we see, Frangulis and Ginkiewicz still fighting.
Still fighting, yes. And I agree with you, because I think he didn't give much space there. Edu Guedes to Bruno Campos. I think he closed a little bit of the space for Edu Campos, for Bruno Campos, as we see already Alceu Feldman ahead of Nelson Marcondes. So great work by Alceu Feldman. Nelson Marcondes tries on the outside to recuperate the position. A little bit of loss of a line by Alceu Feldman. That's a good battle going between these two Porsches, with Alceu Feldman being from the main Carrera class, and Raijan Mascarello is a driver for the sport class.
Yeah, and once more, we have to remember the grid position of Alceu Feldman, which wasn't that good. He started 15th on the grid and now has a very decent track position, battling against Raijan Mascarello, currently 6th. Let's see if he's able to get closer to Paludo and Ferter in order to profit from Ferter's penalty. But they are way ahead, as you said, and now that's a fight.
Good battle for second position. Marcel Miller got to Werner Neugebauer with under 3 minutes to go. That's an excellent battle. Miguel Paludo is still behind Peter Ferter. And look at that. That's a very interesting battle, Carlos, because Werner Neugebauer is second in this championship and Marcel Miller is third. So that's an opportunity for Marcel Miller to diminish the gap between him and Werner Neugebauer. We don't have much time, but clearly at this point, Marcel Miller has a better car than Werner Neugebauer.
Yeah, it will be difficult, for Werner to retain this second position. And as you said, in terms of championship standings, a very important battle, and also very good for Nicolas Costa, because now he's able to open a good gap and guarantee his race win. And look at that, quite close.
Let's see at the end of the straight. On the outside, Marcel Miller over Werner Neugebauer. They will go side by side. No, Marcel Miller gives the way to Werner Neugebauer. But now, as you said, Carlos, we go to a very technical part of the circuit. There is also opportunities there to overtake on the inside. Marcel Miller, great work on the inside and might get the position from Werner Neugebauer side by side, the two of them. But the advantage is for the 544, who gets second position, and Werner Neugebauer is third now after starting on pole for this race. Great work by Marcel Miller, and that's impressive, because what he was able to do. And now problems with number
Gustavo
84,
Farah.
Gustavo Farah.
Yeah, what a
Less
difficult
than
day.
1 minute to go.
And that's a difficult weekend so far for Gustavo Farah. We have to remember that he had an interesting championship situation, just 5 points clear of class leader. And we see the replay of the incident, so not good at all. Let's see if there's any safety car with 36 seconds to go, plus 1 lap.
I
That's an
doubt.
issue.
I agree with you. That's something to be considered. But I think he's way there. I don't think Miguel Paludo will try to overtake Peter Ferter, Carlos.
He doesn't need to do so.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do so. He's not putting the effort. I mean, I'm not saying he's not putting the effort. I'm not inside the car. But it looks like Peter Ferter, will remain there. Paludo got closer than that. He's not as close. And we are about to finish the race. So we'll get the final time now as we get there. The car outside. I don't think they will bring the safety car.
Yeah,
but
that's
anyway.
last lap. No, penultimate lap, sorry. So they can risk a bit, if you can say so. And of course, maybe yellow flag in that specific sector will be enough, if there's any flag. But anyway, Costa will win. We have to praise his performance right from the race start and opening a good gap to Marcel Miller and Werner Neugebauer. And we have to praise once more Peter Ferter, Sergio, because he's not just ahead of Miguel Paludo, but quite close to Werner Neugebauer in this moment. So he definitely is running like a pro in this first race this weekend in Porsche Carrera Cup, and now he will open the last lap.
And that will be the third win for Nicolas Costa this season. He won the opening race in Interlagos right here. At that point, he started on the pole position. Today, he started with second best time alongside pole position Werner Neugebauer. Then he won the first race in Goiânia. So it will be his third race. and in four rounds so far. That's very good results for Nicolas Costa, who I would say at this point is the favorite for the championship, Carlos. No doubt about it. Of course, we still have, after these 5 races to go, with 2 races results to be discarded, but Nicolas Costa is looking very strong at this point of the championship.
Yeah, especially due to his consistency. Even when he doesn't get such a good grid position or something like that, he's able to grab good points. And of course, in such a competitive series, that's the most important thing when you think about title. And Werner Neugebauer, for example, is a little bit, I would say, unlucky and also not that consistent. So that's good for Costa. And that's it. One more race win for him.
Last lap in Interlagos, first race of the 4th round. That marks the beginning of the second half of the 23 Porsche Cup C6 Bank MasterCard Championship. And there he goes. The lights are flashing, and he'll get the checkered flag. One more for him, 3rd this year. Nicolas Costa wins in Interlagos. Great race for him, with Marcel Miller finishing a great 2nd after starting in 3rd. Werner Neugebauer starting on pole will finish in 3rd. Then Miguel Paludo will finish 4th, even though he's behind Peter Ferter on the track. Peter Ferter was penalized with 5 seconds, but Peter Ferter, Carlos, gets the 5th best position. He's 5th on the race, so great work by him. And a nice effort also by Alceu Feldman, who will finish 6th after starting outside the top 10. So great work by Alceu Feldman. Raijan Mascarello will be 2nd in the sports class car, and Nelson Marcondes will be 3rd in the sports class, followed by Lucas Salles and Lineu Pires. Carlos, top 10 there, I just said.
That's it. Very nice race 1. We can expect good things for race 1 of the Sprint Challenge Championship this weekend as well. Right after this one, then we have 2 races this Sunday as well. And what a battle we had throughout the whole grid. A lot of battles, actually. There it is, Peter Ferter, winner of the sport class. What a drive from him, even with the time penalty, getting the class win, as we see there. Bruno Campos, that won in the rookie class after that fight with Edu Guedes. So far, no communications from the stewards regarding that incident in the first leg of the Sina S's. And I believe that Edu Guedes was a bit over-aggressive, maybe, hitting the apex and braking right in the entrance of the corner. And there it is. Let's see the gap between him and the guy right behind in his class. Because Bruno Campos was 17th overall, and Paulo Souza was 19th, but we have to look the gaps there. I believe that Souza will inherit this class win. That's it, the confirmation.
Yeah, so Nicolas Costa ended up the race 3 seconds ahead of Marcel Miller. Great work by him.
Yeah, dominated completely. And that's a shame for Campos after such a nice fight with Edu Guedes, but indeed he touched the back of Guedes' car. So even though Guedes was a bit over-aggressive, in my opinion, when he hit actually the apex of the corner, there was the touch, so 20 seconds added to Campos' race time, and he loses the race win in his class. But the man of the day is this one, apart from him, Peter Ferter as well.
Big commemoration by Nicolas Costa. Really happy. That's Ferter, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Peter Ferter. He was greeted by his driver coach there, Galide Osman, a very accomplished driver in Brazil as well. And he has to be very happy because he gets to this round as the last driver in the Sport Class Championship standings, and now an overall podium for him in the Porsche Carrera Cup 2023 Championship. So he will be celebrating alongside the pros, drivers such as Nicolas Costa, Marcel Miller, Werner Neugebauer, and so on. Good result as well for Miguel Paludo, being able to recover after a difficult qualifying session. Let's hear from Nicolas.
Foi sensacional. Ai, meu Deus.
Vocês viram o tema do carro?
Ele tá comemorando, comendo uma melancia. É isso mesmo?
Bem isso. Se você for ver o tema todo, é bem isso.
Que beleza, não tem champanhe dessa vez, é só melancia. Não, tem champanhe já já. Mas e aí, comenta pra gente como foi, que belíssima largada.
Olha, a largada foi maravilhosa, consegui dar um jump muito bom. Tenho que destacar aqui, falando seriamente, o quão honesto o Werner foi. Me deu espaço, a gente fez a curva lado a lado, que nem a gente fez das outras vezes quando eu larguei na pole, então fiquei muito contente com a esportividade, apesar da nossa agressividade um com o outro. Daí pra frente eu sabia que eu tinha condição de pneu um pouquinho melhor. Fui tentando gerir a corrida. Quando eu vi que ele começou a brigar, eu estava forçando até eu ver que ele começou a brigar com o Marçal. E aí eu comecei a gerir um pouco mais. Porque eles estavam rápidos mesmo assim. E, bom, nunca fácil abrir uma vantagem aqui, né? Você vê no quali, os 4 primeiros separados por menos de 1/10. É muito competitivo. Então o importante é não errar. Tem que ser suave com o carro e manter os pneus bem até o final.
É isso, é só a primeira, tem mais amanhã.
Amanhã tem mais, amanhã vai ser um pouco mais difícil largando de trás, né?
É isso, ó. Galera tá te chamando lá, corre pro pódio, vai com a sua melancia, vai tomar champanhe, aproveita, Nicolas Costa, é sua.
Yeah, nice chat there with Nicolas Costa. He has this watermelon skimmed livery, so celebrating the race win with watermelon. And he was also praising Werner Neugebauer actually because of his sportsmanship in that corner that turned right after race start, because Neugebauer left the space for both of them to fight for position, and that was very nice to see. Then Neugebauer lost a bit of ground and was passed by Marcel Miller, but anyway, Costa has to celebrate, and tomorrow one more race for the guy that currently is leading the championship and extending actually his gap ahead of his title rivals, as we see the confirmation of the race result. Sergio.
Yes, we see there Nicolas Costa, 3 seconds ahead of Marcel Miller, then Werner Neugebauer, Miguel Paludo, and Peter Vetter. Then Alceu Feldman, Rajan Mascarello, Nelson Marcondes, Lucas Salles, and Lineu Pires. These were the top 10 of the race. Then we have there in the rookie class, Paulo Souza end up with the first position there, number 25, Piero Cifali and Edu Guedes. Rodrigo Melo finished at 16th, which was not a result we expected for him, but probably due to his accident during the qualifying session. So that's what probably caused him to be there. So let's see, And that was a good race. And that gives me lots of expectations, Carlos, for the race tomorrow when we'll have an inversion of the grid. So it will be very interesting because we've seen a very fast Nicolas Costa there. We see the accident that happened to Eamon Darwich. He got the touch and he spun. And that was another good battle between Nelson Marcondes and Rajan Mascarello there. And as we see the podium on top, we see Nicolas Costa, then Marcel Miller receives the trophy. Peter Vetter on the right hand side. Miguel Paludo got a good 4th place considering he started in 9th. So he finished in the position he is in the championship. It doesn't help him because the gap increased for the other drivers. Now we have Marcel Miller there. Werner Neugebauer already got his trophy. And then the winner of the race commemorating, it's Nicolas Costa.
Of course, Costa has to celebrate, but it is very nice to see Peter Vetter in this overall podium of the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship, and he has to celebrate a lot alongside Nicolas and so on. And good to see, as Costa highlighted, the sportsmanship of Werner Neugebauer, now greeting Nicolas, even though they are title rivals. The environment of the Brazilian Porsche Cup Series is very nice. They are friends. even though fierce competitors on track, as we see now the championship standings.
Yeah, big advantage opened by Nicolas Costa over Marcel Miller. We second now. Werner Neugebauer is in third, and Miguel Paludo stays in fourth. With highlight there, Carlos, for Lucas Salles, who is fifth in the championship, even though he's from the sport class. He's just 1 point ahead of Alceu Feldman. They are in this battle for the championship. Again, we see the winner for the Carrera Cup, Nicolas Costa, third win of the season in 7 races. So it's a very good point positions. And then now we saw Peter Ferter ahead of the podium for the sports class. So it's Peter Ferter. In second finished Raijan Mascarello, then Nelson Marcondes, Lucas Salles, and Lineu Pires. These are the top 5. We see now Peter Ferter getting his trophy for the win in the sport class.
Yeah, nice podium as well. Ferter, then Mascarello, Nelson Marcondes with an interesting result. Damage contention, if you can say so, for Lucas Salles. An important result in terms of points, especially considering that his main title rival, Jorge Strangulis, didn't have such a good result. And Lineu Pires, actually, he had to accept that result because the race start wasn't that good for him. We had to remember that he started 4th, but lost a lot of ground. He went a bit wide there right after race start, and then was able to at least save a podium there, as we see the celebrations for the class winner. Peter Ferter celebrating a lot with his pit crew, his team there, and he has to do so because the season so far has been quite difficult for him. And that's a boost in terms of morale, in terms of motivation, especially considering that we have still one more race tomorrow, as we see the podium of the rookie class there with Paulo Souza inheriting the race win. Of course, we had the penalty, the time penalty for Bruno Campos, but Campos is there on the podium, 4th in this top 5 of the class. Edu Guedes 3rd, so that's good for Edu in terms of standings, as we see there. Gustavo Farah receiving his trophy, sorry. Then Bruno Campos, and also there Américo Lanzoni, I believe. No, actually it is Piero Cifali, sorry.
Yeah, and not a happy camper, Bruno Campos. He was not happy at all, but you know, it happened. I'm not sure about if this penalty should have given to him. I thought it was very much a race incident, but of course, that's up to the race directors to decide. It's not up to us. And one thing I'm glad, Carlos, in the Porsche Cup Brazil, is that decisions are made fast. So, you know, we know at the end of the race what happened. They don't take that long to give the penalties. So, agreeing with them or not, they are done in a timely fashion, which is good for us who follow the race. And we want to know the final result when the race is over, not maybe 2, 3, 4 hours or even days after that.
Yeah, I completely agree. They have to be fast. Of course, that's a difficult job. We always have to point this factor, if you can say so, because they have to check a lot of cameras and so on. But if they are able to have a decision before the end of the race, that's very important. Actually, the communication of the time penalty was right after the checkered flag. Campos was already celebrating, but anyway, we have the podium with the results set. As we see now, the Sprint Challenge Championship standings, we will have race 1 right in the sequence of the Carrera Cup race that we just had. Marcelo Tomazoni leading the pack, but not a good grid position for Tomazoni. That was especially good for Antonella Bassani, thinking about the championship standings, but we have Eduardo Taurizano ahead of the pack, which is very nice, a former Porsche Sprint Trophy driver, Porsche Sprint Trophy that is a school category of Porsche Brazil. Let's see the grid.
Eduardo Taurizano pole position, Antonella Bassani right side along him, best positions for both in a race that had qualifying session. Gustavo Zanon and Christian Moore. Christian Moore is runner-up in the championship so far. Sadak Leighton's championship leader, Marcelo Tomassoni, in 6th. Not a great position to start, but not that bad at all. Miguel Mariotti and Seba Malucelli will start in the 4th row, followed by Artur Ramos and Sang Ho Kim. Sang Ho Kim back after not participating in the Goiânia round, the 3rd round of the season. Then we have behind them Josimar Júnior and Urubatan Júnior. Then Célio Brasil and Carlos Campos. Célio Brasil in the rookie class, pole position for the rookie class. Carlos Campos. Then Marco Túlio and Israel Salman. So Marco Túlio there in the rookie class. Ramon Alcaraz and Luis Souza in the 9th row. 10th row we have Walter Lester and Eric Santos. And then on the 11th row we have Paulo Totaro and Americo Lanzoni. So these are the 22 drivers who will participate in the race. We are about to start. It's the 7th race of the season, first race of the 4th round that marks the beginning of the 2nd half of the Sprint Challenge Championship. We'll have race 2 of the weekend this Sunday, transmission starting at 11 a.m. Brazilian time, 11 a.m. US Eastern time, 2 p.m. GMT. And we are all ready to start the race. Eduardo Taurissano is on your right side. Antonella Bassani is on your left. Behind Eduardo is Gustavo Zanon, because behind Antonella is Christian Moore with his Porsche number 3. Red lights are on, they are off now, and it's green, green, green. Let's see what happens in the first turn. Eduardo Taurissano and Antonella Bassani, side by side. Very aggressive Antonella Bassani, but has the better position there, Eduardo Taurissano. Look at Antonella Bassani, very aggressive. On the outside, on turn there, and Antonella Bassani gets the first position. What a great work by this young driver, Antonella Bassani, being coached by Bia Figueiredo. She is second, incredible work by her. And we see there Gustavo Zanon with number 33, keeping so far the 3rd position, and a battle for 4th between Christian Moore and Marcelo Tomassoni, with Christian Moore a little bit ahead of Marcelo Tomassoni. He now gets the 4th position, stays in the 4th position, Christian Moore. Great work by him, but what a start by Antonella Bassani. Carlos Costa, wow, that was impressive.
Impressive indeed, and a very aggressive line in the outside there ahead of the first leg of the Sina S's turn 1, that left-hander, and she was able to put her car right beside Taurissano's car. Then the second leg was favorable for her in terms of track position there, so a very intelligent overtaking maneuver as well by Antonella Bassani. Let's see if she will be able to open a gap. Good start as well for Marcelo Tomassoni, gained 1 position and is already putting pressure on Christian Moore, that is one of his title rivals. Interesting scenario for the rest of race 1 of this weekend, Sprint Challenge round that we have at Interlagos, and there we see battle for positions throughout the whole pack.
Very nice start. Christian Moore is able to open a little bit of a difference, not that much, but over Marcelo Tomassoni. But anyway, it's important for him in the fight for the championship. And as you see, as you said, Carlos, many battles on the back part of the pack. We see there number 16 trying to get position. Number 16, who is number 16 or number 15, pardon me, who is Artur Ramos.
Yeah, number 16, I believe, is Antonio Junqueira, that is missing this round.
Yeah.
The class leader, by the way, and with a quite good gap there. So let's see if these title rivals will be able to cut the difference in terms of championship standings, as we see once more how well Antonella's jump was done. Very good job done by the female driver of this grid, the only female driver. There we see track position favorable for her in the second leg of the Sina S's, and then she's able to overtake Eduardo Taurissano. So very intelligent maneuver as well by Antonella, Sergio.
Yeah, behind them we saw Christian Moore trying to overtake Gustavo Zanon. He was not able to. So Gustavo Zanon is in third. And there we see the battle. So Miguel Mariotti got the position from Artur Ramos. Miguel Mariotti was behind Artur Ramos. Artur Ramos trying to get back the position. They go to the main straight. That's a good battle going on. That's battle for 6th position. Antonella Bassani already opening about 1 second over Eduardo Taurissano. And behind we see, Carlos, Marcelo Tomassoni trying to make a move on Christian Moore, trying to get close to him.
Yeah, he's already showing his car in the mirrors of Christian Moore's. And this middle sector of the track is quite technical and allows overtaking. So let's see if Tomassoni will be able to attack even more. But that's a difficult position for Christian because, of course, Marcelo will try to overtake at any cost, given the fact that it is a championship fight as well between both of them. And Tomassoni definitely is thinking about gaining positions because Antonella isn't that far in terms of championship standings. Let's hear from Renato Diniz.
Raijan Mascarello está muito feliz. O sorteio da inversão de grid de amanhã será de 7 posições. Então Raijan vai largar na pole amanhã com a inversão de grid.
Yeah, just Renata confirming that with the draw that defines the grade for race 2 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship, Raijan Mascarello will be starting ahead of the pack. So, of course, that's very good news for him as we see Tomassoni still attacking.
Yeah, and with this draw, Alceu Feldman will start alongside Raijan Mascarello in the first row tomorrow in the Carrera Cup. Second row will be Miguel Paludo and Werner Neugebauer. Then we'll have Marçal Miller and Nicolas Costa. Oh no, actually we have Peter Ferten and Miguel Paludo in the second row, Werner Neugebauer and Marçal Miller in the third row, and Nicolas Costa on the 7th row alongside with Nelson Marcondes. So that will be the top 4 rows for the race tomorrow of Carrera Cup. There see number 71, we see Sang-Ho Kim. He's trying to get close to Carlos Campos. Sang-Ho Kim lost 2 positions from his starting grid position, and Carlos Campos got 3. So it's a nice race by Carlos Campos, while we watch Antonella Bassani, who is staying so far ahead of Eduardo Taurissano. But Eduardo Taurissano is not that far behind. We see a larger gap, Carlos, from Taurissano to Gustavo Zanon. It's a 2-second gap between Taurissano and Gustavo Zanon. But the battle for first position remains. We still have over 18 minutes to go, plus 1 or 2 laps, depends when the time is over. But and also it's a 25-minute race, like all races for the Carrera Cup and the Sprint Challenge, Sprint Championships that we follow here with the YouTube channel for the Porsche Cup Brazil. You always have the option to watch us in this English stream for you who are watching outside of Brazil.
Yeah, and actually Eduardo Taurissano is way faster. 2 laps with the fastest lap time set in the race, and look at the gap between their most recent lap times. Half of a second actually. So Antonella Bassani definitely under pressure. Eduardo Taurissano is in a very good reaction.
We might see a battle for first position. Look at Taurissano, very aggressive on the inside. Then the inside now is from Antonella Bassani. We might see at the end of the main straight, Carlos, if there is not any change there, but Eduardo Taurissano is working really hard to get this first position from Antonella Bassani that he lost at the beginning of the race. Gustavo Zanon is still third, with Christian Moore and Marcelo Tomassoni 4th and 5th in the race right now.
I believe it will be this time, Sergio.
There he goes. We are in the main straight. He's right behind her, Eduardo Taurissano, trying to get Antonella Bassani. Antonella Bassani protects the inside. Not this time, not yet, Carlos. Then Eduardo Taurissano has a little bit of an inside position, but Antonella Bassani works smartly there, intelligent Antonella Bassani, and she stays in first. She survives this lap, Carlos.
Yeah, but we have this sort of back straight. Let's see if he puts in the inside line there.
Yeah, he put in the inside line and he gets the first position. Antonella Bassani doesn't seem to resist, and then Taurissano is first. Great work by him with Antonella in second. And then we see Carlos, Gustavo Zanon is from the sport class and is doing a great race there. He's staying third, well ahead of Christian Moore and Marcelo Tomassoni.
Yeah, let's see if he will be able to attack the front runners there, both Taurissano and Antonella, especially Antonella, because I believe that Eduardo will open a bit of a gap there. You can see that his racing line is a bit different from Antonella's, so I believe she's struggling a bit, even though independently of the race win, she is already doing a good job. But Taurissano is very impressive, just his second race in this Sprint Challenge Championship, and already in a very dominant form, even after losing the lead position after race start, as the fight between Tomassoni and Christian Moore continues. But Gustavo Zanon has the conditions to attack, and we have to praise him, especially because of what you said, Sergio. He's from the sport class, not the main Sprint Challenge class, so theoretically he should be behind or with a bigger gap to Antonella Bassani. But anyway, Eduardo Taurissano in such a dominant performance so far this weekend, Sergio.
We see there Seba Manuccelli with the number 100. He has behind him Carlos Campos, and then behind Carlos Campos we have San Joaquin. So that's a good battle going over there. Seba Manuccelli is 11th, and there we see Antonella Bassani. She's losing ground, Carlos. She's losing ground to Eduardo Taurissano. It looks to me that Gustavo Zanon is also getting closer to Antonella Bassani. So she will face a tough second part of this race in Interlagos, Brazil.
It's a very interesting scenario because Eduardo Taurissano cannot afford to make any mistake as well.
Oh, look a problem. Look a problem with San Joaquin.
And there was no touch there, Sergio.
No, I think it was all by himself. We see this battle here that we were mentioned, battle for 11th place between Seba Manuccelli, number 114, Carlos Campos. Behind them, we see San Joaquin. Oh, he tried there, Carlos. He touched. Oh, that was a mistake by San Joaquin.
Yeah,
tried something he couldn't do.
I believe he forced his way to the apex of the corner, but Carlos' car was there, so in the first moment I thought that there was no touch, but I would say that the touch was caused by San Joaquin. He can argue that Carlos Campos didn't leave room for him, but still you don't go to the inside line there as he did with a car in the way. Whoa, one more instance. Dangerous incident.
Tough situation there. Is this number 3? No, it's not number 3.
I cannot see. Let's wait for the
I
replay.
think it was Marco Tullio. That's Marco Tullio for sure.
And the other car?
That's Marco Tullio. The other car I wasn't able to identify. Oh, it's
Luis Souza.
Luis Souza, yes.
And apparently they didn't touch. We didn't see the beginning of the incident, but the good thing is that both of the drivers, they were able to remove the car off the track there because it was in a very difficult and dangerous position.
And there we have Miguel Mariotti leading this pack. Miguel Mariotti doing a nice race. He started 8th, he's still in 8th position. But he's ahead there of Urubatan Jr. and Sadak Leite. And there we see number 88 of Eduardo Taurissano, who leads the race.
and extending his gap to Antonella.
Yeah, but right now, Carlos, also, I see that Antonella is being able to hold her gap to third place Gustavo Zanon, which is good for her. But she might not get the win of the race, but second place, it would be great for her. Remember that they fight against Marcelo Tomassoni. That's fifth in the race right now. Marcelo Tomassoni leads the championship, but the difference is 12 points to Christian Moore. Christian Moore is ahead of him. Then Antonella Bassani has 111 points. So it's a very good for her. Let's say if she gets this second position. And of course, Eduardo Staurisan is way behind. He didn't participate in the first 2 rounds of the season, right? He started in the third round. So he has 1 round to his curriculum so far.
Yeah, 2 rounds left. So he missed Interlagos, Velocitar, and started his sprint challenge campaign in Goiânia now. The second round for him in this 2023 season of the Porsche Sprint Challenge Championship. Once more, we remember that he was racing in this cool category that is called Porsche Sprint Trophy, but he was so dominant in that championship that he was promoted to the main class of the Porsche Sprint Challenge Championship, and so far showing why he was promoted. And there we see once more Marcelo Tomassoni. No, it is Miguel Mariotti, I believe, ahead of Josimar Jr. But Tomassoni is still behind Christian Moore, so that's not good for Marcelo at all.
We see this battle there. Célio Brasil in 15th, Walter Lester in 16th, and then Américo Lansoni.
Américo Lanzoni ahead of Walter Lester.
Actually, it's Américo Lanzoni, yes. Let me correct. Américo Lanzoni is already of Walter Lester, yes.
I thought it was Miguel Mariotti, but Mariotti is ahead of this train of cars.
But that's a good battle there. Américo Lansoni, who is doing a great race. Carlos, he started way behind there on the grid, and he's already there. He was last on the grid, actually. Américo Lansoni.
Yes, so he was able to overtake a lot of drivers of his class, the rookie one, and now just passed Walter Lester, that is from the sport class. So very good performance, at least in terms of race pace this Saturday for Américo Lanzoni. And there we see Marcelo Tomassoni trying to build the overtaking maneuver against Christian Moore, his title rival. And we see that sectors show that Tomassoni is faster, but he isn't able to put his car side by side with Christian Moore.
Which I think so far is a great result for the championship, Carlos, because Bassani gets points over Christian Moore and Marcelo Tomassoni, and Christian Moore gets points over Marcelo Tomassoni. It might not be a lot, but it diminishes the gap in the championship so far, and it makes it, in my opinion, more interesting, the championship, as we see these results so far in race 1 in the 4th round of the Sprint Challenge Championship in Interlagos. Oh, yet another incident.
Walter Lester and Lanzoni, I believe. Let's see the replay.
Yeah. We have a replay of what happened. There we have.
Yeah, Lanzoni.
Lanzoni ahead of Lester, but it was by himself. Lanzoni spun by himself, and Lester said, "Oh, I gotta do the same," and just followed Lanzoni, and both lost precious positions.
I think Lester was a bit scared with Lanzoni's spin, so he tried to avoid contact at any costs and lost control of the car as well. But Lanzoni has to get out of there.
Yeah,
if that's not the case, safety car.
Yeah, that's the safety car there. I believe if he stays there, it's a very dangerous position. which would make things interesting to close the gap between the cars close to the end of the race. But let's see, the best scenario is a safety car. We'll have a safety car, Carlos. We see the yellow flag there. I believe, no, so far just yellow flag.
You were right.
Safety car, yeah, safety car. It
Yeah.
looked like a safety car. You called it, Carlos. It's a very dangerous position right there.
Yeah, let's hope that the rescue job there doesn't take that long, because we want to see more racing green flag, at least prior to the checkered flag. Ending the race with the safety car won't be nice at all, but I believe it's not that difficult to rescue that car. We have a very accomplished team in that matter in this Interlagos track, so let's hope that we still have a little bit more racing to come, as we see that Bia Figueiredo, Antonella's coach and manager, is talking to her driver, and then the pit crew of Eduardo
eu tô
Taurissano.
exatamente
Let's
aqui
hear from Renato Diniz.
tentando colher algumas informações, porque com safety o cenário muda completamente, né, Bia?
Na verdade ela tá muito segura, assim, pra em segundo lugar. O Eduardo tá com um ritmo muito forte. Lógico que é uma oportunidade agora de ultrapassá-lo também, mas ela tá disputando o campeonato, ele não. Então ela precisa ser inteligente pra também não jogar tudo pro alto, porque é uma boa posição pra ela terminar a prova pro campeonato.
É isso, é a cabeça no campeonato, não tem jeito. Obrigada, Bia. Mas vamos ver, tudo pode acontecer, né, Luke? Sempre, sempre.
Yeah, we heard there the voice of experience, Bia Figueiredo, in line with what we said. By the way, Sergio, Antonella, has to focus on the championship standings. Eduardo Taurissano is not fighting for a title. He started his campaign in the last round, so no chances. And Antonella, she cannot waste P2 if that's the case. Let's hear from Renata Diniz once
Ela
more.
tá aqui dentro do box, colocando a mão na massa, né?
Colocando a mão na massa, aprendendo tudo e tendo a oportunidade de estar com a Antonella, que é inspiração não só para nós mulheres, mas para a corrida em si. Acho que todo mundo que está aqui correndo tem a Antonella como inspiração. Tá sendo
Você veio de longe, hein?
Fortaleza.
É isso, agora vamos ver a relargada.
Yeah, we heard from one of the girls of the FIA Girls on Track program that we mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast. I believe that we'll have green flag, Sergio.
Yeah, we see the leader of the race is Eduardo Taurissano. Let's see what Antonella Bassani will do. Safety car is up. We'll have a green flag again. Restart of the race. Taurissano, Antonella Bassani, Gustavo Zanon, Christian Moore, and Marcelo Tomazoni are the top 5 drivers. As we see again, they hitting the throttle with less than 4 minutes to go. Great restart by Eduardo Taurissano, Antonella Bassani as well. No changes in the top 5 positions. We see a battle for 6th position there between Arthur Ramos and Urubatan Jr. Apparently, Arthur Ramos gets the advantage. And then we have Miguel Mariotti with that green Porsche behind them. Problems on the back of the back is with Carlos Campos. But I don't think that will be a big deal, Carlos. He'll be able to come back. There we see him at the end of the screen. He's coming back to the track.
Yeah, and now we all focus on that fight, and Christian Moore ahead of Gustavo Zanon, Sergio, which is quite impressive from Christian, and good also in terms of championship standings, and that's a concern. Maybe a safety car there. It was Artur Ramos' car, if I'm not wrong.
And Christian Moore is right behind, Gustavo Zanon is right behind, it's Christian Moore there. Urubatan Jr. Urubatan Jr. and Artur Ramos already stopped there. So now that's a worrisome situation to finish with the safety car. And 20 seconds for number 14 of Carlos Campos. Carlos, that is a very heavy penalty for car number 14.
Yeah, it was because of that incident with San Joaquin some moments ago. In my opinion, a pretty harsh penalty. Let's see the replay. The back of the pack there. Where is Arturo Ramos' car?
Yeah, that was the incident, I believe, with Urubatan Jr. Look at Urubatán Jr. He
Yeah.
touched the air and they both went outside. Yeah, on the back, some cars spun as well. I can't identify that right now. But there was another spun, and again, the safety car, which now it might lead us to finish the race with the safety car. Let's wait and see how fast the Porsche is able to take out the cars off the track.
Yeah, but now it's a more complicated situation. Urubatán Jr.'s car, Artur Ramos' car, now we see there number 15, and I believe it was Carlos Campos involved as well. But just talking once more about the penalty, it was due to that incident with San Joaquin. I believe a harsh penalty, but that's the decision of the stewards, and yeah, that rescue will take a little bit more time, so I believe that we'll have checkered flag behind the safety car, Sergio.
Yeah, and just confirming, Christian Moore is in third right now, behind
Antonella Bassani.
behind Antonella Bassani, behind Gustavo Zanon. So that creates two positions between Christian Moore, runner-up in the championship, and Marcelo Tomassoni, which actually is very good for Christian Moore. He gets even closer, even though the gap is not that small. It's 12 points, but it's something, Carlos. It's point by point. This is a very disputed championship that we see there, and that definitely is a very good result so far for Christian Moore. As we are about to finish the race by time, I believe we'll have 2 laps there after the clock is out, which means that the safety car has to work in 1 lap, Carlos, for us to have at least 1 lap in green flag.
Yeah, but that's a shame that we will probably see the end of the race behind a safety car, because actually Antonella Bassani, for example, was expecting to attack Eduardo Taurisano right after the green flag, as Bia Figueiredo explained to us. But then right after the restart of the race, we had this incident, and probably will end the race behind the safety car with the whole pack just behind the pace car there, and that's good for Eduardo Taurisano. Obviously, he's ahead of the pack, and that's it.
And that's it. Checkered flag. So Eduardo Taurisano wins his first race in Sprint Challenge in his only second weekend competing for the category. We see his team there, his family, everybody commemorating, and a great result also for Antonella Bassani and for Christian Moore. Big loser in this race, I would say. It's not the end of him. He stays leading the championship, but it's Marcelo Tomassoni, Carlos, who finishes in 5th, even behind Gustavo Zanon, who was a big winner. He was first in the sport class, and the second sport class was Sadak Leite, who finished in the 7th position.
Yeah, very nice race. As we see one more puncture there, Luis Souza. Difficult weekend for Luis Souza so far. He actually got to this round as the class leader, but I believe that he will lose ground to Sério Brasil. But anyway, nice race 1 for the Sprint Challenge Championship this weekend. We talked about Gustavo Zanon, very good result for him, but he's still in the middle of the pack there in terms of championship standings in the Sprint Challenge sport class. Antonio Junqueira, I believe, will still be leading, even though he's missing this round. But anyway, even though we had the race finishing after the safety car, it was a very good race throughout the whole pack with a lot of fights and so on, Sergio.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a very good race, and it will be, for sure, we have an interesting race tomorrow. That on Sunday we start at 11 a.m. Brazilian time, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern time, or 2 p.m. GMT. So these are the times for the races tomorrow. Great victory by Eduardo Taurisano. I wouldn't be surprised if next year, Carlos, we see Eduardo Taurisano in Carreira Cup, because the campaign he's doing, he is really having a very nice start of career here with the Porsche family. He won the first 2 races of the Sprint Trophy, right? It's called the new category. That's for newcomers or drivers who had been racing before but are coming back to race. He won with big advantage the first 2 races, and then he moved up. They already moved him up to the Sprint Challenge. So that shows how good he is and how in good shape he is. And let's see how he develops in the next 5 races of this season that we will have so far, one tomorrow, and the other 2 in terms the Rio Hondo, and the last 2 in Interlagos, Carlos.
Yeah, but what a year for Eduardo Taurizano, independently of what happens in the following rounds. What he did is already impressive. As we said, he started the year
Vamos de
in
capacete, ou vamos sem
the
capacete,
school
vamos na
class
correria aqui.
of Sprint Trophy. Let's just hear from him.
Taurizano, a pole, vitória. Cara, parabéns, primeira sua. O que você tá sentindo?
Obrigado, emocionado, realizado e tô muito feliz. Só agradecer e tô muito feliz, sem palavras agora.
Beleza, parabéns.
Obrigado.
Luke.
Yeah, once more, a very emotional and, as he said, accomplished Eduardo Taurizano. Of course, very happy with these results this Saturday. As we explained, only his second round in this Sprint Challenge Championship, already with pole position, race win after a difficult race actually, because he had to fight against Antonella Bassani, that is very fast as well. But if he does manage to be in the Carrera Cup Championship next year, Sergio, it will be very impressive, because in a period of a little bit more than 1 year, he will be racing with 3 different types of cars. The Sprint Trophy School category uses the old cars from the Sprint Challenge Championship prior to the debut of the Porsche 992 in the Carrera Cup Championship. We had the 991-2 in the Carrera Cup, and the 991-1, yes, in the Sprint Challenge. Then this 991-1 are currently being used by the Sprint Trophy, and then the 991-2 is being used by the Sprint Challenge Championship, and the 992 generation of the Porsche cars are now being used in the Carrera Cup Championship, as we see the confirmation of the result. So if he does get this promotion, if you can say so, it will be something, I think, that has never happened maybe in Porsche Cup Brazil, Sergio.
Yeah, we saw there the top 10, and Célio Brasil, you remember during qualifying, Carlos, he was optimistic that he might go to the final round, but he ended up getting a top 10. So it's a great result for Célio Brasil, who won in the rookie class ahead of Paulo Totaro. Paulo Totaro, who, as you mentioned, during the qualifying sessions, is coming from a big accident outside not during the Porsche Cup Brazil, but he finished in second in the rookie class. A great work by Paulo Totaro, an 11th overall. So it was a great race for him too. And he got closer to Célio Brasil. Well, not that close. He got closer. He was at the end of the race just 1 second behind Célio Brasil. So nice work by Paulo Totaro as well.
Yeah, definitely, and always nice to see him racing in Porsche Cup Brazil. As I said earlier today, he had a very strong accident in the pre-season testing last year. He was able to recuperate and now back to the Sprint Challenge Championship. A very nice guy. Of course, the whole Porsche community is celebrating the fact that he's okay now, fully recuperated, and once more competing in this marvelous series that we have in our country. We have to praise the organization once more. Then right after this Interlagos round, we'll have the events in Termas de Rio Hondo, Argentina. We talked about that a lot in the beginning of this broadcast, and we have to praise it once more, because it's nice to see this racing series, not just in Brazilian circuits, but in one of the most important Latin American circuits, I would say, alongside Interlagos, the Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in Mexico. So very nice to see. And what a day that we had today, Sergio, with both of the qualifyings and both of the races, I would say, even though it wasn't the end of race that we wanted in Sprint Challenge. The race was very good, and Eduardo Taurisano, I think that is the man of the day, even though Peter Vetter had a very nice Saturday as well. Of course, Nicolas Costa winning in the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship, but what Eduardo Taurisano is doing is remarkable as we see the podium with Taurisano, Antonella, Mor, Zanon, and Tomazzoni, Sergio.
Exactly. Fifth place was Marcelo Tomassoni. Fourth, Gustavo Zanon. This is second place Antonella Bassani. Christian Moore was third, and that's the winner. Eduardo Taurisano. Great work by him. And we've seen two battles for first position, which is always nice in a short race. We saw first Antonella Bassani getting the first position right at the start, and then Taurisano recuperating it. Great work by him, and great results for both drivers, mainly from Antonella Bassani, who advances in the championship. She is still in third place, but she got closer to second and to the first place. So it was overall a good result for her. She, who is a very aggressive driver. Talking about Termas de Rio Hondo, races will be on the 2nd and 3rd of September for the Sprint Challenge, on September 10th for the endurance race. So we will have still, I would say, a month and a half from now on, Carlos, yes.
Yeah.
No, a month and a half, more or less.
A little bit more, but the main thing, Sergio, is that we still have 5 races in this, both of this championship. So it may seem that Tomazzoni has a good gap, but there's still a lot of ground to come, which is good. The expectation is good for the rest of the season, as we see now the sport class podium, Sergio.
Yes, the winner for sport class on top there is Gustavo Zanon. Second place was Sadak Leite. Great work by Sadak Leite. Third place, Ramon Alcaraz. Fourth place actually comes from the rookie class. It's Célio Brasil there, isn't he? Yeah, it's Célio Brasil in fourth.
Yeah.
Because if you are in the rookie class, you also compete for the podium in the sport class because you come from behind. So great work by and Paulo Totaro there on the right, very right side that you see with the green and white and black. Overall, it's Paulo Totaro.
And that's an important information. The drivers from the rookie class only in the Sprint Challenge Championship, they also fight in the sport class. In the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship, the classes are split between them, and the rookie drivers don't grab points in the sport class championship as well. Let's hear from Antonella Bassani now.
Tem que pensar no campeonato, dá uma vontade ali de brigar, mas a gente tem que lembrar uma coisa. 40 quilos de BOP. Não é pouca coisa, não.
É muita coisa, inclusive ele que estreou em Goiânia, se eu não estou enganada, só que acabou batendo, eu tava com o pneu um pouco bom. Eu também tava, só que a gente tem 40 quilos nas costas, ele não tem nada, e eu tava muito rápido, eu tava muito constante, e eu sei que não dava para ganhar essa, ele tava muito rápido, não tinha o que eu fazer, mas eu tava sempre ali tentando fazer pressão nele, e teve uma hora que eu falei assim, não, vamos pensar no campeonato, é deixar ele passar e abrir de trás para não chegar. No final deu safety car, né?
Belíssimo segundo lugar, parabéns, Antonella, amanhã tem mais.
Amanhã tomara mais algum podinho, né? E é isso, continuamos firme aí e lutando pelo título final do ano.
É isso, obrigada. Luque.
Nice to hear from Antonella Bassani, and she mentioned an important factor, that is the extra weight that she carried, the success ballast there in their car, because of the balance of performance regulation. So 40 kilos actually for her car, and Eduardo Taurisano didn't have extra weight at all, given the fact that he's just starting his campaign in the Sprint Challenge Championship. So we have to take this into consideration, and for her, important points in the championship standings. An improvement to say the least, as we see now the rookie class podium, Sergio.
Yeah, Célio Brasil, the winner, raises his trophy. Second place was Paulo Totaro. Then we had Eric Santos in third, and then Luis Souza in fourth, and in fifth we had Marco Túlio. So these are the top 5 for the rookie class for the Sprint Challenge race, as we see our final podium of this transmission tomorrow. Don't forget, 11 a.m. Brazilian time, 12 a.m. US Eastern time, 2 p.m. GMT. We will have the second race for the weekend here in Interlagos, the main circuit in Brazil where we have the Formula One Championship. This is the fourth round
E ele
of
tá aqui
the
dançando muito. Ê, final de semana bom, hein, Célio Brasil?
T6 Bank
Demais,
Mastercard
Depois de uma
Porsche.
pole
That's
daquela,
Célio
você
Brasil.
cantou a pedra na pole.
Ah, você viu depois?
Quero saber se cantou a pedra na corrida também.
Na corrida não, na corrida eu deixei pros meus queridíssimos Luke e Thiago Mendonça.
Maravilha, obrigado. Foi show de bola, corrida difícil. Essa foi desgastante, muita batida, usar muita técnica. E, enfim, foi muita alegria. Eu queria parabenizar aqui o Paulo Totaro, fez uma corridaça, a gente comemorou muito. Cadê ele? Faço questão. Parabéns. Estou muito feliz de ter dividido esse pódio com você.
Imagina, eu que agradeço. Você estava muito rápido, é um piloto novo da nova geração e vai crescer muito, vocês podem ter certeza. Tá?
Cuido de você.
Vai crescer muito mesmo, porque eu andei atrás dele e eu conheço quem anda direitinho.
Totaro, a gente estava comentando o Luke e o Thiago lá na transmissão. Quanto a gente está feliz de te ter de volta.
Eu que estou feliz de voltar para essa família aqui, que eu gosto tanto, que onde o povo me trata tão bem. Agradecer demais a minha esposa, a minha família, que me ajudaram. Nem eu acreditava que eu voltaria depois do acidente, mas voltei. Obrigado por tudo.
Voltou e voltou bem, a gente quer comer canole amanhã no seu box.
Vamos sim, tá bom, obrigado. Tá bem.
Ó, é canole no box do Totaro e pão de queijo no Célio Brasil.
Ficou a promessa, agora ferrou, hein?
Eu acho justo. Vocês concordam, né, Luke e Thiago? Valeu, meninos.
Valeu, obrigado.
Yeah, an emotional interview there with Paulo Totaro. We first heard from Célio Brasil, of course, celebrating his rookie class win, but he dedicated to Paulo Totaro, as we explained. He had that incident in last year's preseason testing, and Totaro arrived there to chat with Célio and Renata, and of course was emotional because he loves racing in this series. The environment, as I said, is very nice, and of course for him is an accomplishment to be back to the Porsche Cup Brazil series. So very nice to see him back once more, Sergio.
Yes, I agree with you. And great win by Célio Brasil. He's improving, and Paulo Totaro said he sees him as a very good driver. He was behind him. So let's see how Célio Brasil will go from now on. So we see there him arriving, his commemoration on the top of the charts. And that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow on Sunday for the second race for this weekend in Interlagos. Thank you all very much who are here with us during this broadcast in the Porsche Cup channel in Brazil, YouTube channel in Brazil. Thank you very much. See you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.